I think the Dance of the Dragons would have been avoided if Jacaerys and Helena were married. Like Rhaenyra proposed. Because I think she proposes in episode 6. She's like, oh, it would be fitting if Jace and Helena actually, you know, married. And Alicent being petty and being like, you don't have any sons, actually. They're all bastards. Didn't take her up on her thing. And I'm like, this thing could have been avoided if you just would have married them. Because then it'd be like, oh, you're attacking Helena's like, you know, I mean, they're all family. This is an incestuous family here. But like, you're attacking your daughter's like kids, their family, you know. I think surely the Dance of the Dragons would have stopped if they had been married. I don't think it would have happened, or it wouldn't have happened the same way.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue of marriage, right? I think that's the interesting thing is some couple in some sort of timeline should have been able to have coupled, and then it would have, you know, done what marriage does in the medieval times, which is, you know, sanctify some sort of alliance a lot better.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because it's interesting to me because, you know, you have these people and you have this thing, and it's like, I think Viserys, honestly, like, we talk about Otto Hightower and the fact that no one checked his ass. He just was allowed to breathe. I think Viserys should have put more policies. He should have put more protections in place so that when Otto Hightower inevitably tried his shit, it would have been a lot harder for him to usurp the throne. Like, Otto Hightower should have never had the power to lock people in their rooms and then kill people who didn't support Aegon. He should have never had that much power. There should have been places and things set in motion where, oh, hey, like, just in case, you know, if someone tries to do something, this is what'll happen. And he didn't do that because Viserys was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And he thought that everyone would get along. He thought Alicent and Rhaenyra would fix their bond, which never would have been fixed. Because also, you know, as soon as Alicent became queen, she kind of held this superiority to Rhaenyra. She's like, oh, as the queen, and then she'd get mad when Rhaenyra's like, oh, okay, the queen. And it's like, you're using your position when she doesn't bend to you as being her friend. Like, that's really weird of you to be mad that she listens to you as a queen and not as your friend.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad when Rhaenyra doesn't view you as a friend anymore because you've used your station to manipulate her into doing things she doesn't want to do. Like get married. Like have kids. And it just ultimately, I think the people responsible truly are Viserys and Otto. And then, like, I don't blame Alicent and Rhaenyra as much because when this started, they were kids. Now, their adult actions, you could take that with grains of salt. Neither one of them were great. But, like, I don't think that they are as much to blame for, what happened. I do think, though, Alicent should have pushed a little bit harder with Otto. I think she should have definitely kind of been like, Oh, well, my husband's dead. I don't have to listen to you guys anymore. But at the same time, she has been... So, the Dance of the Dragon starts when Lucerys dies. That's the
Yeah, I mean, because that's the final, casting call for the Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's truly when the dance begins. It didn't begin until that point. Then, the second person who dies is actually Rhaenys. That's the first casualty of the war, after the war starts. And after that...
Rhaenys is the old woman.
Yes, Rhaenys is the one who should have been queen because she was a lot better suited than Viserys, but because they're sexists, that sexism permeates to Daenerys.
Technically you could say that really in the end the people who caused the Civil War are the people who let Viserys take the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sexism. She dies, and she, I believe, is the first casualty of the war. Mm-hmm. Lucerys is the start, she is the first casualty. And so in the teasers for season 2, you actually see a procession that they filmed, where there's gonna be like a CGI dragon. And it's gonna be like the CGI dragon, and Rhaenys' I think body is there, or just Meleys's head. I'm not sure which one. I'd have to watch videos again. But not long after that, I think, is when Daemon does the old blood and cheese.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys don't know, blood and cheese is Daemon's revenge for the fact that Lucerys died. So he goes a son for a son, and so he intends to kill, I think, Aemon or something, and they end up killing Helaena and the 2 sons.
So still the 2 sons, or
like he still gets the sons. But the intended target isn't. I don't think the intended target is Helaena. I think it was the children. It was Aegon, but the children were the cost. Ultimately. And that's also a very controversial thing because people are like, oh well, Helaena didn't do anything, and it's like, no, she didn't do anything. She's kind of innocent. I do feel bad for her. I do feel bad for the kids. But, Daemon does it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. But, so that happens. Ultimately, we know, and they may do this differently, because as people keep forgetting, J.R.R. Martin said that what we read in the book, which I haven't read yet, I'm waiting to read I'm waiting to read it, which assumes I will have time, since the writers and actors strike is going on. So
yeah, that's right.
Ryan and I will listen to an audiobook. We will have time. They have given us time to read it. But in the book, one, Alicent is way older, but 2, she actually survives the dance. Not because she tried, but because Aegon the Younger, Rhaenyra's son, puts her there and says this is a fate worse than death. And she goes insane because she loses Aemon, she loses Aegon, and she loses Helaena. All of her children and all of her grandchildren. And it's told that she talks to herself, and she talks to Rhaenyra. And she ultimately dies in that cell. Now, how they do this in the series, I'm not sure. I think they're gonna take 4 seasons. They're gonna do some of the stuff in the second season, some stuff in the third, which is where I think Kragon Stark's gonna come in.
Okay.
And then I think in the 4th season, we'll see everything else. We'll see Rhaenyra's death, or not Rhaenyra. We'll see Rhaenyra's death season 3, but we'll see the end of the series. Rhaegon comes in, and then we'll see, like, Aegon. They did not like him. It's believed that he was poisoned because no one liked him as a ruler and as a person.
Oh,
So he gets poisoned, and then that's when Aegon comes in. Aegon the Younger. And people always are like, oh, well, why didn't they have dragons? When you see your mom getting bit by a dragon and burned, I don't think you want those around. That's kind of a symbol of trauma. Because from that point, you don't see dragons again until Daenerys.
Oh, yes.
You also don't see dragons because, or you don't see them in as frequency as when Rhaenyra was alive. Because I believe Rhaegar had a dragon. Or had something of one, because there's skulls in there. Because little fucking Joffrey decides to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
But there wasn't dragons in the true form that Daenerys has them until Daenerys has them. But it ultimately, I think, started the downfall of the house. Because it gave leeway to people going, oh, they actually are, like, unstable. They can be unstable. Because I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to see Maegor's rule. Like, we're talking about Aegon conquest. Yeah, but I want to see fucking Maegor. Like, I want to know why people were scared of him. Why they thought Daemon would be a second Maegor. I want to know what, like, you know, you hear about him, and I say this because in one of the leaked things for season 2, they call Rhaenyra Maegor with tits. They call her Rhaenyra the Cruel. And Maegor was also called Maegor the Cruel. He, you know, he did a lot of stuff, and so I'm curious to see him function and see why they were so worried about Daemon and his potential. And I want to see, because I believe Maegor is the son of Visenya.
Oh, okay.
Which is Aegon's sister that he also had sex with. So let's, you know, a little inbreeding, as always. I believe both of his sisters were his wives. I forgot the other one's name. But, you know, because I would have loved to see Valeron in his high stead. Because Viserys, actually, that was his dragon before his dragon died of old age. His dragons live to be 200 years old. So, when Valerion was on his last legs, that was Viserys rode him. And then didn't have a dragon after. That's why you never see him in the series with a dragon. Which I believe is very interesting in terms of that.
Yeah, I mean, so this last season was basically, I mean, as far as I can tell, the end of the first season was just really gearing up for the next season. Right. Like, I didn't get the vibe that, you know, there was too much to actually respond to. And that it was all just going there. In fact, I thought it ended kind of soon. Like, you know, when she stands over the fireplace and looks back at the very end, I was like, oh, was that it? You know? And of course I said it with a kind of like, ooh, that's exciting that that's there. But I was like, oh, that's it, you know. Because you had made the case that, you know, Matt Smith and others thought that was going to be impactful for her to stand by that fireplace and turn around.
Yeah, because it wasn't a part of the scene originally. Because that would be like